Wonderhussy here, hiking in the beautiful forest at Lassen National Park. That's Lassen Volcanic National Park. In case you've never heard of Lassen, Mount Lassen, it's way up in Northern California, and well, it's a volcano. That's right. I'm fool enough to go hiking on a dang volcano, and what's more, a volcano that erupted not that long ago. I think the last time Mount Lassen blew up was 1921. There was a pretty major eruption in 1915, so this sucker is definitely still active, and you can tell it's still active all around you. Like, I'm standing here at this beautiful lake. It's called Cold Boiling Lake, and there's a sign here, Cold Boiling Lake. Note, cold gases bubbling up through water. Apparently there's gases coming out of some vent in the earth, this being a volcano, and you can see, well, maybe you can see down there at the end of the lake, they're bubbling up. I mean, it's crazy to think that this beautiful, peaceful alpine lake has these crazy gases bubbling up from the bottom of it. But that's kind of the nature of the West. I mean, out here we have all these amazing mountain ranges and luxurious hot springs, and well, I hate to tell you, but them hot springs are all here because of volcanic activity too. You might have heard of the Yellowstone caldera. It's this huge, well, again, I don't know much about volcanoes, but it's this huge caldera, which is some kind of volcanic mass that's supposedly due to blow any day now. And when it does, it's going to send a huge plume of ash and smoke into the sky, kind of like if you remember Mount St. Helens when that erupted. But the Yellowstone caldera, whew, I mean, it's supposed to wipe out something like a third of the United States. Not to be a downer, that's all way in the future, fingers crossed. Today's just a beautiful day to be hiking around and enjoying a volcano. Now, as you can see, this is just a beautiful trail I'm hiking on, surrounded by these gorgeous tall pine trees, which, by the way, smell amazing. I'd love it if this was smell-o-vision and you guys could smell what I'm smelling. And then, of course, every once in a while you get a peek through the pines at these beautiful alpine lakes. And then you can even see little patches of snow here and there in amongst the pine trees. That's right, even in late June, today is June 26th, and even now, there's still snow up here and quite a bit. And in fact, well, shocker, Lassen isn't the original name of this mountain. Well, first of all, it's just a mountain. It didn't have a name when it was created, but you know, the first peoples that lived here, the Native American tribes, they had a different name for it, and I don't know how to pronounce it, and I don't want to butcher it, and also I don't remember it, but it meant Snow Mountain because it's covered in friggin' snow just about all year long. I mean, there might be a brief window in August or something without any snow, but other than that, it's nice and cool up here pretty much any time of year. You know, it's interesting. I often take time to stop and shoot video B-roll for these videos, you know, like just static shots of me hiking or of my feet on the trail or of the landscape, but I never really stop to shoot audio B-roll. So I'm going to shoot some footage for a while here that I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to let you hear what I'm hearing because, oh my God, the sounds are amazing. See if you can hear everything I'm hearing. Wow, did you pick up on all that? Should have been able to hear my pack squeaking, me huffing and puffing, birds chirping, and best of all, you might have even been able to hear the sound of this beautiful little mountain stream coming down in this waterfall. Look at this. Oh wow, what a beautiful mountain stream. So friggin' crystal clear, and I bet it feels amazing. Oh yeah, nice snow melt. Even though we're at 8,500 feet, it's a hot day, and that feels pretty good. Good thing I have waterproof hiking boots. Okay, wow, look at these friggin' pine trees. First of all, they're super tall, and secondly, they have all this beautiful green moss growing on them. Can't remember what that means. Does that mean that's the north side of the tree? Side with the moss on it. You can see how friggin' beautiful this forest is and why I like hiking up here so much. I mean, these trees are friggin' massive. Look at the root system. It's so cool. It's like something out of Lord of the Rings. Holy wow, I'm gonna pan all the way up this tree, guys. Wow, amazing. I'll tell you what wouldn't be so amazing though is if one of them branches fell down on me. Yikes. Better keep moving. The views on this trail are amazing. The sounds on this trail are amazing. And the smells on this trail, well, so far the smells have been amazing. I mean, like I said, the pines smell really sweet and awesome. And then there's all these beautiful little wild flowers out and you can kind of smell their perfume. And then of course, there's my own perfume. Just kidding about that last one. But all the smells so far have been, well, really pleasant. But I'm afraid that's not going to last on this hike. Where exactly am I hiking, you might ask? And why would I hike someplace that doesn't smell good? Well, first of all, you should know me by now. I like weird stuff. And secondly, well, if you do know me by now, you should know that I love hot springs. And like I was saying earlier, hot springs are a direct function of geothermal activity, volcanic activity. So it stands to reason that as a hot springs nut, well, I should make my pilgrimage to the Mecca of hot springs, which I guess an argument could be made for Yellowstone because they have that boiling river up there and all those crazy boiling, you know, Grand Prismatic Spring, all those crazy hot springs up there that are way too hot to get in. You know, every now and then you read those stories about people who ignore the signs and go too close to the boiling hot springs up there and then, well, end up getting boiled alive. Well, up here at Lassen volcano, it's kind of a similar thing. There's a bunch of super boiling hot springs up here too. That same thing, they have warning signs around them, and I think there's like a little boardwalk trail you can walk around so that you don't accidentally fall through the crust. So anyway, I'm hiking to the main area here at Lassen that has the bubbling, boiling hot spring type activity. And well, unfortunately, there's a lot of sulfur in it. If you've ever been to certain hot springs, smell very sulfurous, kind of like that gross rotten egg smell. Well, the place we're going, you know, now that I think about it, I guess you should be glad this isn't smell-o-vision because the place we're going smells really, really strongly of sulfur. I've actually been here before when I was like, oh God, well, I know my parents took me here when I was a baby, but then I remember coming back when I was, I think, oh gosh, 12, 13, 14, kind of a early teenager again. And well, I was too young to remember it the first time, but whew, that trip I definitely remember. I remember my parents dragging us. Remember, I was like 13. I didn't want to go hiking. They dragged us up to this area that we're going to. And gosh, it was hot and I was tired and it smelled bad. And I'm sure I did nothing but complain about it. Anyway, the place we're going has a very evocative name. Bumpass Heck. It's aptly named because, well, if my memory serves me correctly, it kind of smells, feels, and gosh, even kind of looks like, well, HE double hockey sticks. And interesting side note, I wonder if this video will get demonetized by YouTube because they're so strict now about offending advertisers that when you upload a video and you say that you want to monetize it, they ask you all these questions about it. Like, well, does the video contain any minors? Does the video contain any violence? And then one of the questions is, does the video contain any mild swearing? Like, you know, beep, beep, or beep. And well, hey, it's not my fault the friggin' federal government named this place what they did. You know, it's on the friggin' park brochure. It's on Google Maps. So I don't know why I shouldn't be able to say it on YouTube. But now that I think about it, I probably ought to put some asterisks in the title and description of the video, just in case it gets flagged. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's so beautiful here. Look at this. You can see how blue the sky is, how green this foliage is. And by golly, it looks like we're coming up on another waterfall. And this one's even bigger. Okay, check this out. I'm gonna pan down from the waterfall and show you where it's going. and it's gonna knock your socks off. Okay, you can see the waterfall comes out of the bushes there. It kind of splashes down over these beautiful moss-covered rocks. Look at that bright green moss. And then it comes tumbling down, frothing up as it goes over these rocks. And it cascades down the side of this hill all the way down into that valley. And it ends up feeding that beautiful little lake. Holy cow, I feel like I'm in Heidi, the movie Heidi, or the cartoon, or the book Heidi. You know, it feels like I'm in the Swiss friggin' Alps. I guess that's another reason why this Bumpass Hell place, or excuse me, this Bumpass Beep place that we're going is so noteworthy, because we're in this area of just staggering, almost unimaginable, you know, beauty on steroids. And then, well, we're going to descend into, I guess it's a valley on the other side of this ridge, I think, that's just, well, unspeakably foul. Hard to believe, looking at all this, that something so gross could be just around the corner. But hey, I guess we'll find out. Now, one thing I should note about the hike I'm taking is, if you just wanted to come up here and go straight to Bumpass Hell, it is one of the most popular features of the park, and there's a really easy, flat, I think it's like a 1 mile trail to it from the parking area. But it's up at such elevation that, unfortunately, the trail is covered with snow for most of the year. And the trail sometimes is closed because of snow until like August or even September. I think typically it opens around like 4th of July. And like I said, it's late June right now. So unfortunately, the direct route to Bumpass Hell was closed because of too much snow. So I had to take the long way, which is you go and park at the Kings Creek trailhead and you hike to Cold Boiling Lake and then continue from there. And to be honest, I'm really glad it worked out this way, because not only is this an amazingly beautiful hike, but you know, it's a little bit longer too. I think it's going to be about 5.5 miles round trip. And well, I need all the exercise I can get. You know, that quarantine and the gyms being closed, well, it wasn't too good for my bottom line, if you know what I mean. Okay, wow. It looks like we're kind of coming up above the tree line now to the top of the ridge. And you can see where it's much less green, much more sparsely vegetated. So I think right over this rise here is where we're going to drop into Bumpass Hell. The Bumpass Basin, I think it's called. Oh man, I can't wait to see it. I mean, like I said, I saw it last, when I was like 13 or so. So in my memory, it was like this bubbling, boiling, steaming, stinking, sort of marshy mess of a cauldron. And you know how stuff always seems more dramatic when you're younger? I'm curious to see if it holds up to my memory. Woo! I actually can smell sulphur. We must be getting close. Okay, guys, I think this might be it. Coming over this ridge here, we might be able to see some stuff. Oh yeah, look. Oh man, I'm shooting this in real time as it happens, so you guys can feel like you're actually hiking this with me. Even if you're not able to hike, well, by gum, you can do it virtually with me. And you can see, you might be able to see some steam coming out through the bushes. Oh wow, look. Holy crikey-roly. Yikers. Oh my golly. Oh my god, I know I just sounded like Huell Hauser on a meth bender, but that was all very sincere. I am completely gobsmacked by this. First of all, it's just as dramatic as I remembered, if not more so. Secondly, it really does smell like sulfur even way up here. And thirdly, God, I couldn't believe there was that much steam coming off it. And then I don't know if you can see right there, there's like that bubbling, burbling mud pot. Oh, and there's a boardwalk that goes right up close. So, hey, let's hike even closer and get a better look. Before we go down there though, I mean, just a reminder of how beautiful this landscape is that we're in. These beautiful trees and flowers and butterflies and birds, all hiding this twisted, nasty secret This secret hidden hell basin. Gosh, I feel like this is like a metaphor for a lot of things, you know, like, well, even the nicest of us have our, you know, our ugly aspects hidden deep down under all that pretty exterior. Not naming any names. That's my heart. Just kidding. I have a pure heart. Doesn't it show? Oh, man, I'm so excited. I'm actually running to get down here. Okay, guys, here we are. We're coming up on Bumpass Hell. Are you ready for it? Dun, da, da, dun, da, da, dun, da, da, dun. Wow-wee. Man, I mean, the color of the water is actually beautiful. It does remind me of some hot springs that I've been to where the water was this beautiful, you know, sort of turquoise color, but it smelled real sulphurous. Holy crap. I mean, you can definitely tell we're sitting on top of a volcano. Reminds me of that Jimmy Buffett song. I don't know where I'm gonna go when the volcano blows. Okay, so here we are at Bumpass Hell. We actually have it all to ourselves. There's nobody else here, which is awesome because I get the feeling that, like I was saying earlier, the trail to the Bumpass Hell parking area is only a mile and a half that way, so it's a pretty easy trail. And if it was open, it'd probably be a lot more crowded here. Like I said, I think this is one of the most popular features of this park, and because the trail's short and easy, I bet a lot of families take it with their kids. And in retrospect, I actually recommend doing this hike I guess earlier in the season before the Bumpass Hell trailhead is open, because this really wasn't a bad hike and it was beautiful. And well, you know, you have a lot more elbow room. Okay, so let's walk along this little boardwalk and take a closer look. Man, this is just friggin' fascinating. Look at this water. Okay, I thought it was kind of turquoise clear, but on closer inspection, actually let me go to this side so my shadow's not on it. It's actually gray. Look at that. It's like this, I guess, volcanic ash or something. Real silty gray color. Wow, this place is so surreal, and it's even more surreal because it's deserted. I love this. Look at this sign for the idiots out there. Danger! Hydrothermal ground may give way underfoot. Off-trail travel has resulted in severe injury. Unlawful to leave the boardwalk. And then for those who are too dumb to even read, or, well, to be fair, from places that don't speak English, this helpful graphic. There's all kind of steam coming from over there. This pool here, oh wow. It's steaming, but you can also see bubbles coming out of it. And then look, like this whole area here is just kind of one big mud puddle. It's kind of dried out here, it looks like. Probably still kind of soft. And yes, I'm very tempted to walk out there and poke my finger in it, but I'm not going to. Okay, we're just kind of continuing along this boardwalk. Off to our left there is that little stream that's gray from all the ash. And then off to our right, we just passed that bubbling pond. Now it looks like we're coming up on some more interesting stuff. I mean, whew, it does smell down here, but gosh, interestingly, it doesn't really smell as bad as I remember from last time I was here. Probably because I've been to so many hot springs in the interim that I've become somewhat accustomed to the smell of sulfur. So it's not as offensive to me as it once was. But gosh, I mean, it is strong. Okay, well, I gave you guys the audio B-roll earlier. And then, of course, I did my video B-roll. So now I'm going to do an olfactory B-roll for you, okay? I'm going to turn my camera to face the stinky, bubbling sulfur pit and let you guys see if, just by looking at it, you can maybe imagine what it smells like. This will be a test of your imaginations. Okay, here's the olfactory B-roll. You can probably see the water and the mud sort of boiling, bubbling, burbling, and the steam wafting off the surface. Well, did you smell anything? Ooh, that smell! Can't you smell that smell? The smell of death surrounds you. Wow! Oh, hey, look at this. I didn't notice this earlier, but when I was looking at where this mud puddle had kind of dried out, there's like a big hole in it, kind of like where a big bubble sort of burst, and then the ground never filled in after it. Weird. Wow, this is cool. So that little stream that we were looking at when we first got here, the gray one, well, it comes down under the boardwalk like a little waterfall, a little gray ashy waterfall, and then it just continues flowing down, and it creates this really surreal gray creek. It's weird, man. It almost looks like the creek is in black and white and the rest of the landscape is in color. You know, kind of like the opposite of those cheesy, you know, you see those cheesy black and white photos where just the woman's lips are painted red or just the rose is red and everything else is black and white. You know what I'm talking about. Well, this is like the opposite of that. Okay, so here's the trail you would take normally to get to the regular Bumpass Heck parking area, and it's closed. So apparently we've gone as far as we could along this boardwalk. But interestingly, right here by the Bumpass Heck trail, there's access right down to the creek, and there's no sign saying not to go down there. So, gosh, I hope I don't deglove myself, but I'm really curious. I can't imagine that this water is still hot coming down this creek. I mean, do you guys think this waterfall is actually hot? If anything, I'm gonna guess it's maybe warm. I'm gonna find out. Okay, I'm just gonna go right up here to the water. First, I'm gonna put my hand over top of it and see if I feel any heat coming off of it. Oh gosh, yeah, I do. I actually feel, oh, I touched it already. Wow, it is, that's warm. That's like a nice hot spring right there. That's like a hot spring. Gosh, all the way down here, imagine how hot it is up there. Yikes. Woo-wee. Actually, the water doesn't smell too sulphurous. I guess it's more the steam that has the smell. Interesting. Okay, wow, this is actually way cooler than I thought it was gonna be. I mean, partly I guess because I was a teenager when I was here the first time, I don't know. The only bummer is this boardwalk is, well, it's really just one boardwalk that kind of cuts through the middle. It doesn't wind around through any of these other features, so you can't really get really close. Shocker, I mean, they don't want people to get hurt, but I don't know, remember we saw that boiling mud pit from up when we were first looking down? I was hoping I could get a little bit closer to that. Okay, I hiked back up to that overlook that we first came on, where you could kind of have an overview of the whole place. And to be honest, this is kind of the best view. Holy crike. That is hot, man. That's bubbling mud, boiling, bubbling mud. Yikers. I mean, who would be stupid enough to go close to that? You can see like there's that ridge above it. And then you can kind of see the boardwalk trail isn't that far away. So I'm sure many an idiot has hiked over there and, well, sadly, probably one or two has fallen into his or her death. Wow, it's crazy when you can just sit here and watch it like a lava lamp. It's interesting how every once in a while, like a big spurt will come up. I guess like the heat or the pressure of the gas kind of varies. I'm not sure what would cause that, but God, this thing is alive, man. Looking at this, you really do realize that the earth is alive and sort of breathing, or maybe, well, you might say seething. So be careful what you do. Wow, well, anyway, this is like the perfect place to stop and take a little break before I hike back down. I mean, nice little rocks I can sit on here with an amazing view of Bumpass Heck, which actually, now that I think about it, I think I'm gonna call the video, well, I'm gonna take a page out of the Mormon playbook and call it Bumpass Heck. That's right, I had a lot of Mormon friends growing up, and they used to always say, well, they weren't allowed to curse, and so they'd always say like, oh my heck, or like in heck instead of hell. I don't know, no one really says oh my hell. Anyways, I'm not sure why Mormons say oh my heck, but it's a Mormon thing. Comment below if you're a Mormon and you agree. Anyway, I'm gonna call the video Bumpass Heck. Sadly and stupidly because of YouTube censorship, but also because it's a name everyone can enjoy. Snack time. Yeah. I wonder if this was like a sacred place for the Native Americans, you know, like for them to see boiling steam like this. It seems like, well, maybe it was like the opposite of a sacred place. Maybe it was like considered a place of evil. And another thing I was thinking sitting here is, how awesome would this be in winter time, to see this in the winter? Can you imagine like snow all around this and then the steam coming out of the snow? I think you can do like snowshoe treks here in the winter, and that'd be, I don't know if they go here, but whew, that'd be pretty amazing. All right, break time's over. It's time for me to start my hike back down and, well, leave the paradise that is Bumpass Heck. Bye, Bumpass Heck. See you next time.